So this is what I have currently for my Enseo Cultural Tres assignment for my Intermediate Spanish 2 class. Although I'm pretty much completely done with it, although I still have plenty of time to work on it. It being not due until basically 11:59 p.m. and it's currently 8:19 p.m. I've been working on it all day. Pretty much since roughly 6 in the morning, I would say, although there were some points in which I fell asleep. I believe I briefly fell asleep at around 9ish in the morning after having what I believe was those two...
There you go.
The fortune cookies? Thanks. Here's where they landed on the bed. I initially had some difficulty logging into Canopy, but after some effort, I managed to figure out a method to access my Brockport account through Google for Canopy so that I could watch the Soldad, at least that's what I think it's pronounced, film or documentary, which has a running time of just barely 25 minutes, being actually 24 minutes and some seconds. Being something I could count on my two hands. I enjoy the Szechuan wonton. That upgrade to the Dwarven Bulwark is slightly increased my total training size to this much for units with one squad size slot, such as the archers, and these banshees, they have a squad size of greater than 1. It's 3. To produce Night Essence, it's 15-hour production period. The same as for the Amosa. At least that's what I think. It could actually instead be 10 hours. I'm currently thinking. I'm having thoughts of upgrading the Fairy Portal site, though to do that, I would have to produce some Nightshade. I was able to get, during the last production period of night essence. In the end, I ended up with just enough to activate the drone rider technology. I could potentially dedicate the next city expansion to getting the mercenary camp. Or I could dedicate it to essentially getting the mountain halls, Ancient Wonder, and completing upgrades on my scrolls manufactory, my biggest one. And this city expansion merely costs some Amosa, thus making it, I think, relatively easy for me to activate for this far into the research tree. 181 completed provinces. Excuse me. And around 9 in the morning, I think from 8 to 9 in the morning, I was afraid that I was gonna fall asleep on this bed. Ended up sleeping through my intermediate Spanish 2 class at 11. Thankfully, that ended up not happening, but I still couldn't attend my intermediate Spanish 2 class. I think I woke up sometime around 10 in the morning after falling asleep after having these 2 energy drinks. Looks like one of them may still have a bit of liquid left. Though I have suspicions that they could potentially be causing me heartburn. Since I think I only started having it while sitting and standing after I switched to that energy drink from the Rockstar Exendurance, since I thought that the Mountain Dew Rise energy drinks would be healthier. I've watched the Soul Dad documentary more than once at this point. When I saw the ending for the first time, roughly, I ended up feeling a sort of inner peace and a sort of connection with all the people of the world through the heart center, essentially. Essentially, right before I fell asleep. It may have something to do with the fact that I'm in the final stage, potentially in the final stage of my college life. At least for now. I have no idea if I'm going to have to wait before I can go on to a graduate program here at Brockport. Though obviously I'm not currently at Brockport. Right before he left for work at around 7 in the morning, Dad suggested that I microwave the burger, the double cheeseburger, and the coconut rice and the cornbread in that tray that, again, I brought over from Harrison Dining Hall. That I bring it over and I microwave the double cheeseburger and everything else separately. The double cheeseburger for 2 minutes, and the coconut rice and the cornbread for a minute. But I felt that the double cheeseburger would heat up too fast without the other stuff, so I settled on a compromise of microwaving everything at once for a minute and a half. Excuse me. And lunch turned out pretty good. At around 6 in the morning, Dad gave me some coffee, which I believe I drank from 6 in the morning to around 6:30 in the morning. I think around 9 in the morning I got a robocall regarding some kind of car dealership thingy. Something related to a vehicle. But I don't own a vehicle. And I don't recall ever indicating that I did or do in the past. And then around 6 in the evening, I got what initially thought was another robocall, but I answered it anyway. It turned out to be someone from the American Red Cross, basically thanking me for my whole blood donation appointment. But then she stated that they have a critical need for platelets. I didn't want to replace my set in stone whole blood donation with a platelet donation, so I ended up scheduling an appointment for a platelet donation the Sunday after my whole blood donation. So the whole blood donation is going to be at noon. And luckily, by that point, Dad had gotten back from work. And so I worked with him. So me and, I guess, the volunteer could work together to set up a platelet donation for starting at 10:30 in the morning. They had a later appointment of 1:30. I initially picked because I believe Dad likes appointments that you have to get up early. You don't have to get up early for. Just how I like classes I don't have to get up early for, or I prefer later time because I'm afraid that if I get a class that's earlier in the morning, I'm going to stay up too late and end up sleeping through it. Speaking of which, I repeatedly checked for a Zoom meeting for my Intermediate Spanish 2 class, but the data for it never appeared for some odd reason. It looks like there was a bit of a malfunction for at least this fortune. Seems okay to me. And that just seems to be a bit extra. Oh well, I sure am glad to have received that fortune. Although, of course, I'm pretty sure they insert the fortunes at random. So technically there's some luck involved in these fortune cookies, but they don't exactly predict the future. At least nothing beyond, I think, coincidental. Very true. all I have to do is finish my answer to the 7th comprehension question. Everything's in Spanish, and I believe this cultural essay is formatted a bit differently. At least that's what it seems like to me. On the personal reflection part, it took me hours to make it push through that 200-word minimum, but I did it, and it's currently 211 words. I did it entirely off of Grammarly. And here's the resulting writing. Though technically it doesn't have a conclusion. Well, perhaps I should try to think of something like that at some point. After all, I want to do the best job I can. Very true. Very true. The new fellowship adventure started recently on Elvenar. I'm trying my best to contribute the best way I can to it. For the supplies, I'm currently producing bread, but earlier there were points in which I produced beverages specifically for something that was needed for the very first tick, for the trails, before they ultimately split off, but still it was the first tick on the fellowship adventures. I have no idea if it's due to grease. It could be, but there are points in which the touchpad is a bit iffy, seeming to do a double or even more multi-click at once, but for now it's operating pretty well. Or maybe other times when I'm moving it like this, it's as if I'm also holding it down too, but I'm not.